We're surrounded by ads every single day, right? On our phones, on TV, everywhere we look. But what actually goes into making a truly great one? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and show you the strategic blueprint behind the ads that really capture our attention. You know the feeling. You're scrolling through your feed and an ad just clicks. It makes you laugh, or it makes you think, or maybe it even makes you want to buy something. Have you ever wondered how they do that? Well, let me tell you, it is so not random. There's a real science to it. For most companies, the journey starts by teaming up with an advertising agency. You can think of these agencies as creative powerhouses. They're packed with specialists who are experts at cooking up those innovative ideas and telling a brand story in a way that actually connects with people. It's kind of like assembling a superhero team. The company has the product, and the agency brings in the strategists, the artists, and the writers. And it's that mix, that collaboration of all these unique talents, that results in campaigns that are powerful enough to build real, lasting brand loyalty. So, how do they actually pull it off? This is where the blueprint comes into play. And you might be surprised to learn it's a very structured 5-step process that takes a tiny spark of an idea and turns it into a full-blown ad. Now, you might be picturing this chaotic, artsy room with people just throwing ideas around. But nope, the reality is way more organized. This creative development process is a deliberate, crucial framework. It's the secret sauce that makes sure every single piece of an ad, from the colors to the words, has a real purpose. And here they are, the 5 steps. First up is the marketing background. You gotta know who you're talking to, right? So they do a deep dive on the audience and market trends. Second, they set clear creative objectives. What is this ad actually supposed to do? Drive sales, build awareness? Then comes the creative strategy. This is where they nail down the core message, the big idea. Fourth is creative execution, and this is where it all comes to life. The visuals, the sounds, the words, everything. And finally, step 5, creative evaluation. They look back and ask the most important question: did it actually work? But here's the key thing to remember. This isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a cycle. What they learn from evaluating one campaign feeds right back into the start of the next one. This structured loop is how the best brands consistently create ads that just get us. Let's just zoom in on that last step for a second. Evaluation. This is where the rubber meets the road. I mean, take the famous Smell Like a Man campaign. After it went live, the team didn't just pat themselves on the back. They obsessively tracked its performance to see if their creative bets paid off. And oh boy, did they pay off. That campaign resulted in a, get this, 2,700% increase in Twitter followers. That is not luck. That is the result of a perfectly executed creative process, with the data to prove it. Okay, so that's the process, the blueprint. But what about the message itself? How do advertisers get into our heads? Let's dive into the psychology of it all, how they actually make you feel something. They do it using something called message appeals. Think of it like a psychological toolbox. They've got all these different tools or approaches designed to connect with us on a practical level, or more often, an emotional one. The goal is always the same, though: show you the value and get you to take that next step. So, for example, you've got your positive appeal. This is all about showing you the amazing beneficial outcome you'll get from the product. It creates this aspirational image of your life, but better. Of course, this is just one tool. They could just as easily use a fear appeal, think about a home security ad, or a humor appeal to make a brand feel more like a friend. It's all a strategic choice. All right, we're going to zoom in one more level. We've talked about the big picture process and the psychology of the message. Now let's get super granular and talk about the exact words used to persuade you. Welcome to the world of the copywriter. So what is a copywriter? Simple. This is the pro whose entire job is to craft the words, the headlines, the taglines, all the text you read. They are absolute masters of persuasive language, and it's their job to bring the campaign's core message to life. And many copywriters have a secret weapon, a classic, time-tested formula called IDA. It stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. The best way to think about it is like a 4-step staircase designed to walk someone from being a total stranger to becoming a customer. It all starts with attention. You have to grab it, and fast. The headline is your first and sometimes your only chance. An ad like this one for Heinz is genius. It stops you in your tracks, gets your attention, and makes you curious enough to want to know more. Okay, so you've got their attention. Now what? Well, now you have to hold their interest. This is where the copy starts connecting the dots for you, showing you how the product doesn't just have features, it has benefits that can actually solve a problem or make your life better. Then comes the really crucial emotional pivot, desire. This is the magic step where the copywriter's job is to turn that casual interest into a genuine want. They're trying to shift your thinking from, that's kind of cool, to, wow, I really need that. And finally, the last step is action. The ad has done all the hard work, and now it's time to close the deal. This is the call to action, or the CTA. It's a super clear, direct instruction. Shop now, learn more, subscribe today. It leaves absolutely no doubt about what you should do next. So, as you can see, a great copywriter isn't just writing catchy phrases. They're a psychologist and a guide, masterfully moving you through this ADA flow to communicate value and ultimately to persuade you to act. It's a real art form. So at the end of the day, whether you're looking at the big 5-step process, the psychology of the message, or the 4 letters of AIDA, it all points to the same thing. Great advertising is never an accident. It is always a carefully planned journey guided by a strategic blueprint. And now you've seen behind the curtain. You know the blueprint. So the next time you're watching TV or scrolling online and an ad really grabs you, you'll know exactly why. The only question left is, which ads are you going to see differently now?